But here's the secret, the thing that's going to change how you prepare. Behind all those dozens and dozens of questions, they're really only looking for just three, fundamental qualities. So what on earth are they?
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with what I'm calling the cabin crew code. Then we'll dive into the three big pillars: the guardian, the ambassador, and the professional. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about how you can use all this to craft your own winning story.
All right, let's crack the code. The very first thing you need to do is stop trying to memorize answers for 100 different questions. It's just not going to work. We're going to simplify this whole thing because really, every single question they throw at you, it's secretly designed to check for just one of three key things.
And here they are. These are the three pillars that make up the perfect cabin crew candidate. First, you're the guardian. Safety is everything. Second, you're the ambassador. You're the face of the airline. And third, you're the professional. You've got the resilience and poise for the job. Honestly, if you can master these three things, you've pretty much mastered the entire interview.
Okay, let's dive into the first pillar. And honestly, it's the most critical one, the guardian. Look, before we talk about anything else, service, smiles, anything, this job is about safety. It is the absolute non-negotiable foundation of everything you do.
So you're going to get questions like these, about safety checks, medical emergencies, maybe even a fire in the galley. On the surface, they all seem totally different, right? But what they're really asking, deep down, is just one simple thing. Can we trust you to keep everyone safe when things get serious? And that's exactly what being a guardian is about. Your number one job isn't pouring coffee, it's safety and security. Period. You are literally the first responder at 35,000 feet. Every answer you give has to scream that safety is your absolute top priority.
Okay, let's take a classic tricky one. Imagine this. The plane hits some serious turbulence, and one passenger just refuses to sit down. What do? See, this question isn't really about handling a difficult person. It's a direct test of your guardian instincts. Here's a super simple but really effective way to answer this. First, you stay calm, always. Second, you state the procedure clearly and firmly. Third, you explain why, that it's for their own safety. And fourth, if they still won't listen, you escalate. You follow the chain of command. An answer like that shows you're in control and that you take procedure seriously.
All right, so with safety covered, let's move on to pillar number 2, the ambassador. Once you've established that safety is handled, your role kind of shifts. Now it's all about representing the airline with incredible service and a whole lot of grace.
With this pillar, you'll notice the questions change. They're all about your people skills now. We're talking customer service, how you handle a tricky passenger, or even a conflict with a colleague. It's all about teamwork and how you manage those relationships.
Because as the ambassador, you really are the face of the airline. Every single interaction, big or small, it matters. The interviewers want to see that you can deliver that amazing service, but also that you can be a great team player and handle any awkward or difficult social stuff with total class. And there's a really important difference here. When you're dealing with a passenger who's upset, it's all about de-escalation and protecting the airline's brand. But when you have a disagreement with a colleague, that requires a totally different kind of professionalism. It's about respecting your team and the hierarchy. Showing the interviewer you get that difference, that's a huge win.
And that brings us to our final pillar, the professional. This one's a little different. It's less about specific scenarios and more about, you. It's about figuring out if you're truly cut out for the unique challenges of this career.
So when you hear those questions about stress or how you handle long hours or the classic, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is what they're digging for. They need to know if you've got the right personality, the right motivation, and a real clear-eyed view of what is, let's be honest, a really demanding lifestyle.
This is your chance to prove you're not just in it for the cool travel pictures. You have to show them you're resilient, you're adaptable, you know yourself. You need to make it clear that you've really thought about the tough stuff, the jet lag, being away from family, and you're absolutely prepared for it. And think about it from their side. The stakes are really high. Airlines pour a ton of money into training new crew members, so they have to be sure, absolutely positive, that you're committed for the right reasons and that you're going to stick around for the long haul. Okay, so we've got our 3 pillars: the guardian, the ambassador, and the professional. That's the what. Now let's talk about the how. How do we pull all of this together to give an absolutely killer interview performance? This right here is the final piece of the puzzle. The best candidates, the ones who get the job, they don't just answer questions, they tell stories. Your goal should be to treat every single question as a chance to share a quick story from your past that actually shows you what it takes, that you fit into one or even all of these pillars.
So how do you do it? It's simple. Whenever you get a question, take a quick second and ask yourself, okay, which pillar is this about? Guardian, ambassador, or professional? Then answer with a real example, a specific story from your life that proves you've got that quality. Don't just say you're a team player. Tell them a story about a time you had a colleague's back. Show, don't just tell. And hey, if you really want to knock it out of the park, connect your story back to the airline's values.
Once you start looking at the interview this way, it completely changes the game. It stops being this scary, unpredictable test. Instead, it becomes your chance to show them exactly who you are and what you're made of. Think of it like this. The interview isn't a test. It's your first flight. It's your opportunity to prove you've already got what it takes. So, the only real question is, are you ready for takeoff?